Hi guys, welcome back to Relentless. I am just headed out to a networking event and I wanted to take a few moments to give you a release for anterior neck muscles. I've been wanting to do a video like this for a while and I just happened to be dressed today to be a little easier to show what it looks like to do an anterior neck release. So a lot of people want to do stretching with the neck, and that is fine. Some stretches are good. But what you'll find sometimes is stretching an extremely tight muscle can actually make it more tight. And I can explain more about that later. But what I want to do is basically give you a pin and stretch technique, active release technique. You might have heard that term. But this is a good way to give relief to the anterior neck muscles that often refer all the way over the head to under the eye. So these muscles can be so tight, and their referral pattern, because of where the muscles are attached, will cause pain throughout the entire head. So if these muscles are tight, if they're restricted, it would help relieve some of this tension in your head, ear, jaw to get them released. So what you're going to do is you're going to find your clavicle, the bone right here in the front of your neck. You're going to take two fingers. So if you're going to work on one side, you take the opposite side hand. Take two fingers, find that bone, and you're going to go right over the bone. So you're going to be right behind the clavicle. So you're going to get right behind that bone. You're going to press down pretty good. No lotion, no oil, no nothing. This is a myofascial technique, so you want to literally be breaking up and tearing up the tissue to make it lengthen, and also therefore to lengthen and open the muscle. So take two fingers, find the bone, go behind the bone, on top of the bone, press down pretty good. You want to make sure that your head is straight. So if you're doing this standing, you're not leaning on one side, on one hip. Just make sure your body's nice and straight, shoulders are relaxed. Two fingers behind the bone, push down pretty good. And you're going to start pushing over your shoulder, so out over your shoulder, and you're going to turn your head toward the opposite side simultaneously. So push in, start to push that way, and turn the opposite way. So you're pushing in pretty good to get some pressure on that tissue, and you're turning opposite the way you're pushing. And you're going to take that out all the way over to the end of the clavicle. Now what you'll find is if this muscle is, or this tissue and muscle line is really tight, you might find some spots when you get in there that it's extremely intense with that pressure. So when you get to a spot like that, pause. If you need to come out of it for a second, just turn back into that side and then start again. If you need to do that a couple of times, just stop and start again. And stop and start again. Always pushing and turning at the same time so you get that good pin and stretch technique. What you'll find is a better breath, because a lot of times we breathe with those top muscles instead of breathing as we should 360 around the ribs. But you want to treat both sides. So that's a good way to open up the neck. We call this the mommy muscle. That's the SCM, the sternocleidomastoid, and that name comes about where it's attached. So your sternum and your clavicle, and the mastoid process, the bone behind the ear. And because of those attachments, when it gets tight and it's pulling, that's what causes that referral pattern, sometimes over the head and the eye. You're also going to affect your scalenes. You'll get some of this tissue opened up and you'll help the scalenes open up. They also have an extreme referral around the head and face. So this is a good general decompression for the fascia and the muscle of the anterior neck. So to review, I'll do the opposite side this time. If you're going to treat this side, you're going to use opposite side hand, two fingers behind the clavicle, find the bone, go on top of it, push that way, and turn the opposite way. You might find one side tighter than the other, so you may want to treat that side more. And make sure when you do this, you're not turning with your body. Your body stays nice and straight and tall. All you're doing is pushing the tissue and turning your head. Don't lean your head. Make sure you're keeping that, your nose stays straight. You're just turning your nose. So push in, push that way, turn the opposite way, and that will be a good release of the anterior neck. And if you are a client of mine, you know I always say if you release something, if you stretch something, you need to be activating something else. So this may be a good temporary help for you if you have restriction and pain, headaches. But if this is a chronic issue, if you have chronic tightness and restriction in the anterior neck, that is indicative of that muscle being a compensator for something else in the body. So there may be a weak muscle or a group of muscles somewhere, and the anterior neck is a huge compensation for other parts of the body. So my advice is to work with a practitioner that can test you to find out if this is a chronic issue and your neck is actually overworking for a weaker part of the body. And that's how you will get long-term relief from chronic pain. And I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please contact me anytime. But again, this has been a short demonstration for a general release of the anterior neck muscles. Thanks so much. Have a great day.